Maurice, when did you first think digital is going to be important in my business?
I think in 1985, when we started to have an electronic graphic palette, 1985. And we created a studio, we put it in the creative department, and creative people were turning around and no one was going in. And suddenly, because of a hurry and a client who was looking for something different, late at night, one creative guy entered. He dared to do that, and he asked for changing the ad. And it has been done overnight, and we started to have a lot of graphic palettes. And then in 1994, we created a department which was designed for web. And the first web ever done in France has been done by our agency.
Right, so you've been way up there, well ahead of the game.
By accident.
Very modest. What's the organizational implication for the advertising agency? You take over a digital marketing specialist. Do you have the digital bit and the other bit, or have you totally integrated now?
The most difficult thing to do in our business is to deal with the resistance of people to change. That's the most difficult issue. And you have people who are entrenched in their habits, in the way they are used to do the work, and there is this traditional habit. And to have them changing is very difficult. So we started to have standalone operations which were along the traditional agencies. And then we contaminated, if I may use this word, the agency by introducing new people, new breed of people, and what we call digital native. And this has changed progressively. If we have accelerated the speed at which we have transformed our group compared to our competitors, it is because we created Vivaki, which is helping shifting the media investment from the traditional or analog to the new world. And this is something which has really changed the way we were working.
Yeah. Social media is more recent, obviously, than the kind of digital innovations that were occurring back in the 1980s. How much does that change again where you were in the 1990s with your web outfit?
It is changing because people are sharing. They are sharing information, they are sharing their mood, they are sharing their problems, they are sharing when they like a brand, they are sharing when they don't like a brand. And this has accelerated the empowerment of the people and the consumer. And this has dramatically changed the way we advertise.
Yeah. Expand on that. I mean, you...
If you look at the 20s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the beginning of the 2000s, we were speaking at consumer, we were speaking to consumers, and there was no dialogue. And we were all looking as the holy grail for the feedback. Today, we don't have to wait. We get the feedback just a few minutes after you have posted the ad. They like it, thumb up. They don't like it, thumb down. And they are pretty quick at doing it. So what has changed quite dramatically, the fact that you enter into a dialogue, it is interactive. People are reacting immediately. If, for example, you take the example of Gap, it has taken what? 2 weeks after huge investment to have the brand going back to the old logo. And this simply because people didn't like it. If you go back to the 80s, it has taken 18 months for Coca-Cola to come back with a classic. That's the difference. Speed at which people are reacting, the speed at which they say yes or they say no, and the fact that you have to get organized to communicate in their language. And what has changed also quite dramatically is the language and the tone of voice. You don't speak the same way when you are on TV and when you are on the web.